Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video. It's time to do some more Who Would Win battles. Yes, it's that time of the week again. Now, first I need to make it perfectly clear that, number one, my Who Would Win battles are simply subjective opinions, and I also want to make it perfectly clear that my opinion doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, I know, in fact, in these videos, I do give a legitimate answer to, well, not a legitimate answer, but my personal opinion of who would win in the specific battle at hand. But at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to watch any of these videos and think that my answer as to who I personally think would win in this fight as an unbiased, judge, if you will. That doesn't mean that that's the legitimate answer. It really depends on what your personal opinion is and your subjective opinion is, because I've been getting a lot of comments for my Hulk versus Broly fight, which is hands down probably the number one Who Would Win battle I've done that has been very speculated and very debatable, which is good. I like the fact that that fight has been getting a lot of feed, and I like the fact that a lot of people have been commenting and being like, oh, I think Hulk would win because of this, that, and that. Or I think Broly would win because, he destroys galaxies, this, that, and that, etc., etc. I get that. But at the same time, I just want to make it clear that, just because I say that Broly won, doesn't mean that Hulk can't beat Broly. I'm pretty sure at some point in time, you can pull out some kind of obscure comic book storyline or some kind of version of Hulk that could beat Broly. That's the point of the comment section. You let me know what you personally think. Because at the end of the day, even though I give a brief rundown of powers and abilities of both characters and give you my personal opinion, my unbiased opinion of who I think could win, doesn't mean that's the legitimate answer. That's the point of the segment on my channel. It's who do you think would win? And of course, if you want to debate more, you can go to my Twitter, twitter.com, at JohnControl, twitter.com, and use the hashtag who would win, and then, the various characters that I have planned, for example, Broly versus Hulk. You put hashtag who would win, Broly versus Hulk, and then give me an answer of like how you think they would win, how the fight you think could have went, and so on and so forth. But that being said, today it's time to do another Who Would Win battle. It's time for Robin from the DC universe to take on Hit Girl from the Kick-Ass universe, and of course I'm using, this is a requested fight, and the ironic thing about this requested fight is that it was kind of. It was more or less it was kind of ambiguous as to which Robin, but then when I looked closer at the requested comment, it specifically states that obviously it needs to be Dick Grayson Robin. So of course, for when it comes down to this specific fight, I will be, obviously having Dick Grayson Robin versus Hit Girl. So of course, it's Dick Grayson Robin. We also have to keep that in mind that this isn't Nightwing Robin. This isn't, the ultimate, Dick Grayson that we all know and love from any kind of various content. This is not the Dick Grayson who later became Batman. No, this is simply Dick Grayson Robin. And we're dealing with the everyday average Hit Girl versus this one specific type of Robin. So I have to keep that in mind, because my original idea, when I heard this request, because I thought it was a good idea to have like Hit Girl versus all the Robins. That was like my original idea, but I think it'll be just easier just to simplify things and just say, you know what, let's just keep it at just one Robin, and if it's going to be Dick Grayson, just let it be Robin Dick Grayson to be more of an even fight. But that being said, of course, if you're new to my channel and new to this specific segment, of course, you need to keep in mind that the first thing I do is give you a brief rundown of both characters' powers and abilities. I give you a speculated fight as to how I think it would go down, and give you my personal unbiased opinion of who I think could win in this fight. And then I ask the obvious question, who do you think would win in a fight between Robin versus Hit Girl? That being said, let's get into this fight. Let's start off with Robin's, Dick Grayson's powers and abilities. Now, of course, Robin is at the peak of human conditioning. He was trained by the Dark Knight himself, Batman, so of course he's at the peak of near perfection for anyone of his age. Kind of similar to how Bruce Wayne is at the peak of human conditioning for a human being of his status. Robin is the same way for children of his status. Moving off of that, Robin is also shown to be able to run above average speeds from a person of his age, so he has increased speed lengths. He's, of course, Robin's endurance is at the peak of someone, once again, of his age, a boy of his age. He's able to endure several attacks from some of the biggest and strongest characters in the DCU, like, multiple cyborgs and multiple other cyborg-esque characters like Amazo and, various characters like that. Also, Robin is also proven to be at the peak of human agility. He is clearly displayed that he's a master of acrobatics. Of course, if you've not known anything about Dick Grayson's prehistory before he became Robin in Batman's Legacy, he was obviously a circus performer. So he's basically a master of acrobatics. He's also at the peak of physical strength for someone of his teenage age, which of course he received this conditioning from Batman himself. He's also a master martial artist, master at stealth, master escape artist, and marksman. He's obviously a detective. He's master and excels at driving motorcycles and various vehicles. He's a master hacker, computer technician, and he's just overall doesn't have that many weaknesses other than the biggest, which is a lack of real superpowers, which, of course, if you know anything about the Bat family, most of them don't have superpowers, so that's kind of like the major weakness for characters like them in their specific universe. But that being said, the great thing about Robin, just like Batman, he has multiple equipment and technology that he brings on his missions, which of course he has the cowl to obviously hide his identity. He has multiple versions of that cowl. He has his classic utility belt, which Robin uses to carry around weapons and equipment to help him and aid him with his missions. He has Eskrima sticks, if I'm saying that correctly, which are basically twin dueling sticks that he uses on his missions. He has obviously a grappling gun, batarangs, which is essentially a converted version of a batarang. He also carries around with taser and gas pellets and rebreathers. Obviously, he also keeps with him kryptonite, which obviously won't help him in this fight because he's dealing with Hit Girl, not a Kryptonian like Superboy. But that being said, that's a brief rundown of all of Robin's powers and abilities and the multiple pieces of equipment that he brings on his missions. Moving off of that, let's get into Hit Girl's powers and abilities. First off, Hit Girl has been trained to take a bullet and point-blank range, of course, with using the help of a bulletproof vest. She is a master at hand-to-hand combat. She fights with blunt and bladed weapons. She has been taught to use a multitude of guns, and she has access to multiple inventories of guns, and she's just highly intelligent with fighting, gunplay, and of course she knows everything about action movies and various action movie stars. So of course she, as you know, Kick-Ass is supposed to be like a comedic spoof on superheroes, so of course she has to know all these kind of things because she's a spoof of these kind of characters. The great thing about Hit Girl is that she's kind of like she's like the modern day Robin for a Robin of today's age, which is the great thing about her, is that she kills. That's the difference between the two characters, that she's remorseless in her combat. So she's willing to cross the line when it comes to dealing with criminals and various other characters in her universe. And obviously Hit Girl rather is physically and skillfully set to virtually unmatch any of the characters in her specific universe. She's individually the most powerful character in the universe. If you know anything about Kick-Ass, obviously, Hit Girl is far more dominant than the main protagonist of that story, so of course the win would go down to her. Hit Girl is particularly set with skills that have saved the character of Kick-Ass many times, and she's incredibly limber because of her small size. People tend to underestimate her because of how small and young she is, which makes her the most deadly character in her specific universe. But moving off of that, she also has carried small throwing blades and throwing blade attached. She has blades that are attached to wires. She also is very skillful using flamethrowers, and of course she has mostly been seen to use a pair of Glock 23 pistols, dual pistols, to slaughter people. Because once again, Hit Girl is known for killing the living shit out of people. But that being said, that's pretty much a brief rundown of Hit Girl's powers and abilities. I know that's kind of like brief when you compare to Robin. Like when you look at the stats, Robin surpasses Hit Girl. But the thing is that there's a difference between like her character's universe and the DC universe. DC's universe is more into the superhero age, while Kick-Ass is more into like the spoof kind of real world kind of age, like Spider-Man minus the powers kind of. So that's kind of the general gist of her universe. So that's kind of like the difference you have to take into place when you're comparing the two. But that being said, if I had to get down into the nitty gritty of this fight and give you speculation of who I think could win, number one, like I said, when you compare the stats, it makes it clear that Robin would win. And I feel deep down in my bones that Robin would beat the living crap out of Hit Girl. He's just completely superior to her. I know she's freaking awesome. Hit Girl is freaking badass. She's hands down one of my favorite comic book characters, or at least, rather I should say, one of my favorite sidekick characters of all time. I mean, both these characters are, originally sidekicks for the protagonists of their, series. But at the end of the day, she just kicks so much ass. I just feel like, physically, Robin could overpower Hit Girl. Hit Girl would definitely be a very hard match because of her strengths, because of her ability to fight, because of the many weapons she has, and of course of her small size, would definitely play in a huge effect in comparison to her, especially with her defense in comparison to Robin's offense. At the end of the day, her weapons I doubt would have any kind of real effect on Robin. I know he'll have some kind of form of shielding to protect himself from her weapons. On top of that, Robin has much more equipment that he can use to defend himself against Hit Girl's bladed weapons, because as we all know, Hit Girl, the difference between Robin and Hit Girl when it comes to this specific fight is that Hit Girl is going to want to kill Robin, which is one of the major differences between the characters. Deep down inside, I know Robin could beat Hit Girl. I know he can. But Hit Girl's the one who's going to want to, who will definitely kill Robin. So that's the major difference between both characters that you need to take into effect in this fight. But overall, I personally think when you compare the strengths, when you compare the equipment that they carry on, but at the end of the day, it really comes down into who would want to kill who. Personally, I think at the end of the day, if I had to announce a winner in this specific fight, I personally think Robin would win. I mean, Dick Grayson just has the training, he has the skills, he has the fighting experience, he has the equipment, the strength, the power, the speed, the mastermanship. Just to power Hit Girl. Hit Girl is fucking awesome and she's totally dominant. I actually, going into this fight, I really thought Hit Girl would win because when you think about it, Dick Grayson doesn't really get to improve until later on in the series when he becomes Nightwing. But him as Robin, even at Robin, I still feel like he could win. But at the same time, I could see how Hit Girl could win. Hit Girl would definitely kill Robin. That's the difference between the two. She would definitely go down and kill the living crap out of him. However, I personally think that at the end of the day, if I had to announce a winner, I would just go with Robin. That's kind of just my general in my bones, I just know that Robin could beat Hit Girl. Hit Girl would win because she would want to kill him, and I know she would freaking succeed. It really depends on the Robin that you're dealing with to really discuss this kind of fight. I mean, like, if you had to, throw it out there, like, what other Robins that Hit Girl could win? Jason Todd as a boy, definitely Hit Girl would win. Tim Drake as a boy, definitely would overpower him. Damian Wayne, nah, Damian Wayne is definitely the one who will kill her. But overall, Dick Grayson would definitely beat her. Hit Girl would probably lose. I don't know if she would die, but I know she would lose. But at the end of the day, I know she'll fucking come back and want to kill him. But that being said, at the end of the day, Robin wins. That's just my personal speculation. Let me know who you think would win in a fight. But that being said, it's time to tease the next week's Who Would Win battle, and that's of course a rematch fight. It's time to bring back another character from the past, my Wave 1, to essentially redeem himself in a second fight in my Wave 2, and that's of course the Incredible Hulk versus Doomsday. Yes, it's time for Marvel vs. DC once again. Hulk battles Doomsday. Let's see how that goes down. Let me know what your personal speculation are on that. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section below using the hashtag who would win Hulk versus Doomsday. And of course, go to twitter.com @JohnSk12 and tweet at me who you think could win using the hashtag who would win Hulk versus Doomsday. Also, I just reached 400 subscribers. Thanks to everyone who watched these videos and subscribes to me. I hope you guys enjoy. Share these videos around, and I hope you like them as well. And of course, check out my vlog where I discuss reaching 400 subscribers and giving you a brief update on what's going to go down with my channel and what have you. Also, check out my Twitter overall and my Instagram @JohnSk12. It's the same one for both. It's @JohnSk12. For Instagram and Twitter. But that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below. Let me know what you personally think about this fight and next week's fight. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And this has been JohnSk12.